Hello, and welcome to Introspective Lifeworks, where we are going to look at your truth versus your beliefs. Now, I have been on this journey of awakening since about 2010, 2011, and this is a process where your beliefs begin to drop away and turn into your truths. A belief is something that you experience when you were born. It's a process throughout life, and it's the things that are planted and grown inside of you that are not really part of your true soul or your essence. And as you begin to discover your truth, you will have aha moments where you will resonate with something that is completely usually opposite of what you were taught and told you had to believe. Okay, now moving on to your beliefs and my take on it. My truth, which is also a belief, but I've discovered to be my truth, meaning that it's my own knowing, is that we each are created by Source, the Creator. And once this happens, we go on to be whatever it is that we make a agreement with Source to be. Some of us have a purpose, a destiny, and obstacles that we must go through for our soul to progress and end at a certain level. This is a truth I believe for me. Now, not everyone's going to feel or believe this same way, and that's fine. That's what makes us all unique individuals that are created to make the universe what it is. So, with that being said, let's move on to when beliefs begin to be planted into us. The minute we're born usually, I'm going to speak in general terms, into a family, and we then begin to be filled with all the beliefs of our family. We may be baptized in a particular religion, and then we may be a part of a single family. We may be a part of a family with two parents, or we may even be adopted. Whatever our destiny is, our path, we're just beginning it. And then we get indoctrinated when we start school. We meet more people and we get told that we have to be a certain way. And this is just the beginning of all of the seeds being planted into us to get us where we want to be socially accepted. And if we don't go along with the flow in school, the kids that misbehave, they're stigmatized and they're treated sort of as an outcast, and they're looked upon as like not being right because they're not following the norm. So then we move on into our adulthood and begin our life, and we've got all these beliefs, and we're just going about business. And basically, what I believe is we're being controlled by a minority. We're the majority, but this minority, this elite group, is controlling us. And there's many names out there for it. I don't need to mention them here, but if you do a little research and you want to find out what this is, it's not hard to find the information out there. And this group of beings, energy, the minority that controls everything, they are soulless. And what does soulless mean? It means that they've done so many things that their soul has disconnected, and they're just walking around with no soul. And they are doing what I refer to, it's a new age term, looshing. Loosh, if you look it up on Google, it will tell you it is a new age term that simply means that human energy is being harvested from the lower vibrational energies. And this is what I was discussing earlier, the minority, the elite minority. They take Loosh energy and feed upon it. It is what powers them up. So, what are these energies that they need to feed on? This would be anything that has a low vibration. So, it would be sadness, grief, um, hatred, and the big one, fear. Now, this deal with the health crisis throughout the world that we've been going through, it created a lot of fear, a lot of fear. A lot of people lost jobs in their lives, were turned upside down. But in that process, a lot of people begin to go back to their essence and who they truly are and look inside and begin to love themselves. And this was defeating the purpose for these lower vibrational energies to collect the loosh. So now we have a new crisis facing our country, and it's causing just as much fear, anger, hatred, rage. It's really allowing these lower vibrational entities to harvest more power and more loosh. And my plea to anybody that is a light worker or trying to heal and raise their vibration, going through an awakening, to embrace it and let it go. And stay in peace and love. If we stay in peace and love, I believe we can get out of this timeline and continue to raise the consciousness of the world, of the earth. Okay, so let's get back to the subject. Now I'm going to discuss the ways that we buy into these belief systems and how they take over and loosh our energy without us even really realizing it. One way is addiction. Addiction is a manipulation and control of our energy that we really, I don't believe, realize we're giving away our power when we become addicted. And I have a theory, and what I believe is the underlying source of the addiction. And I believe it's all of the things we are bombarded with in our life. And the first thing is for anybody that watches a lot of television. Now let's break down that word. Tell-you-vision. The movies, the TV series, the commercials, they are all there giving you subliminal messages. And in later videos, I will go into the psychology and how subliminal messages are planted and create mind control without us even suspecting or knowing it. But let's get back to the addictions. Now, by addictions, I don't just mean alcohol and drugs, the focus most people talk about in society. They also focus on obesity and overeating or inactivity. Those are all addictions. And the one I want to get into, though, is the one that I feel is really affecting our children and our young adults today in society. And this is the addiction to social media. And there's been so many things that have happened from this. There have been kids that bully other kids with social media, and then one kid ends up taking their life. There have been people that build their whole life around being accepted, and they think they're getting the love they need from social media, but it turns out to be an empty vacuum of nothingness usually, and it drives them into a lower vibration. So social media and being addicted to it, it sucks away your time. It causes lower vibrational emotions. You might not realize that you might get that hit of dopamine when you go on and you get likes or whatever from your Facebook post or your Instagram post. But then, you just get on a cycle where you want more and more and more, and it's never enough, because really we were created to be uh, human beings that are here to love and help one another. And this just basically isolates us and separates us, like the lower energy minority wants. This is a way to box us away from one another. And when we're always on our phone or on our iPad or on social media, we're being drawn away from what life is all about and living. And I feel that, if you understood everything about the people that are creating all of these things that are on social media, and the games for kids, the technology, all the technology that just addicts us and keeps us in everything. They are created by people that work in Silicon Valley. And these people, they have very peaceful and tranquil lives, actually. They know the secret of how to tap into consciousness to be creators. And they go to work and they have breaks for meditation. They know how to connect, and then they live lives of where they do really find happiness, and they do know who they really are. And even though they're helping to lower the vibration of mankind, they know the secret. So they've managed to master overcoming beliefs, and they've learned how to tap into their own creativity. So what can we do to overcome these types of addictions and have a better life? Well, the number one way, I believe, is to learn how to balance our lives, to put a certain amount of time for things that pull us away from things that really should matter. Like, discover what you love about you. That's the key thing. Discover what you love about you and seek it out and find it. Now, in the next part, we're going to talk about truth. Truth is your all-knowing. It is something that you feel in your solar plexus. It resonates with you, and you just know, aha, this is it. I got it. Now, to give you an example, I'm going to talk about one of my hardest truths that I went on search for. I was raised in a religious environment. I was Catholic growing up as a child, and I received all the sacraments. If anybody's Catholic, they know what I'm talking about. And then I got older, became an adult, and I got married to a Southern gentleman that was Southern Baptist. Two completely opposite religions. And he tried to come to the Catholic masses, and he had been fed some beliefs about Catholics, like when he was a little boy, him and his family, his father was in the Navy, they moved to Corpus Christi, and his mother accidentally sent him to a Catholic school, and he goes to school, and he's got a nun, and he comes home and he says, I don't know what's going on, Mom, but my teacher wears a long black dress and a black veil with a white thing underneath of it, and I think they call her a nun. And his mom freaked out and went right away and removed him from that school and put him in a public school. She didn't know that it was a Catholic school. But right there, that was like the first seed planted in his upbringing that Catholic was bad. So when I married him, he had really no idea what a Catholic was, and he had a hard time wrapping his head around it or being open to it. So then I believe that the family that prays together stays together, a myth, but another seed that was planted. And I converted to being a Baptist and got baptized in the Baptist church, and my mother had a fit and was very, very upset with me, and it upset me that she was upset with me. But this was just another little example of the trickery of how looshing can happen, because my mother was releasing Loosh and I was releasing Loosh just because of a decision I made. Well, moving on from that, the marriage did not last and we got divorced, and then I went on a spiritual journey to find a church that I felt like I fit into and I could relate to, because when I was in the Baptist church, I went to a family meeting, and it was a family get together at one of the members' houses, and we just were socializing, and I caught the preacher or pastor, and I asked him a simple question, because I had been reading the Bible and I wanted to know, like, how old was the earth? And he told me 6,000 and something. I don't remember the exact number. It was a long time ago. And I remember thinking in my mind, what a liar. What a liar, because I know the dinosaurs have been here way, 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 way longer than 6,000 years. And this was my first inkling to question the religious beliefs. Then I went on after my divorce and I found a Pentecostal church, which I loved in the beginning. I thought it was really amazing because I could feel the energy and I felt so good. But I did not realize, well, I kind of realized, but because of all the religion that had been planted in me and all the beliefs and everything, I was, or I am, an empath. And I spent so many years believing, because I knew things and things came to me, and I had these connections with spirits and things, that I was crazy and I was evil and I was going to go to hell because all these things were happening to me. And the more I got into the real religion, and the more I felt worse about myself. And this is a perfect example of Loosh and how these institutions, they unknowingly take our free will. Because to me, fear is a free will stealer. Because once we drop down into the fear energy, we no longer have our free will. And our free will is our right to make our decisions for our life the way we want to live it. This is what I believe for sovereignty and free will. So I decided to step back from religion after my experience with cancer because, well, there was lots of things I was questioning. Like, I will make a video about my religious experiences that I still to this day cannot explain, but I possibly think it could be different forms of channeling. So, with that said, let's go on to how do you find your truth? It all begins with a question. Something like in my case, it was religion pops up, and we begin to question everything about it because inside of us, we don't feel like it resonates with what we are, what we were created to be, what our purpose is. And then we start out that journey, and that journey starts out with that question or questions. And we begin an investigation where we delve into the what, where, why, how, when, whatever of it all. And the journey I was on took a number of years because I kept getting pulled back into those beliefs, and it was hard for me to let it go because it was just so deep in my soul. And when I finally was able to release it, I felt free, my vibration raised, and I started to step into what I was created to be and the healer I was put here on earth to be, the light worker I am, to help heal and raise the vibration of others. So once you begin this process of the spiritual awakening, some call it the dark night of the soul because it's not all peaches and cream. There are times when you have to delve into the darkness of your soul and bring out those things and release them that no longer serve you, and take back your free will and your sovereignty and be that masterpiece creation that you were created to be here at this time on this earth and going through all of these things. There is a reason and a purpose for everything. I truly believe this. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you found something that you are able to take away from it. And I leave you in love and light. May you have an amazing, beautiful day. Thank you.